Cinematographer versus videographer. What is the difference? Because a lot of people out here don't really understand the difference, and then even people that are in this industry of work and wanting to get in this field don't really know what the difference is and how to distinguish the two. Before I even go any further in explaining like this stuff, this is all my opinion. This is not just 100% fact out of a book. What is a videographer? A videographer is pretty much someone who captures an event and captures the moment as is while it's happening, right? So you tend to see more videographers at weddings, sports events, concerts. The list goes on, man. There's a bunch of other jobs that a videographer can be hired for, but I'm just naming a few. But basically you get the idea. I hope you get the idea that a videographer is pretty much just there to kind of capture the moment as is, and he's not too much being or focused on being creative and trying to be more in control of the situation when it comes to how it's being shot, where it's being shot, the scenes, the camera angles, the cuts, all that type of stuff, right? You look at a cinematographer is almost the complete opposite. The cinematographer is all about creativity. The cinematographer is all about the story, it's all about the dialogue, the lighting, the location, you know, where, when, day, night, evening, morning. All of that stuff matters to him the most because he or she has control of the story they're trying to tell. For example, we recently shot Project Puma, and that was like a promo ad promoting J. Cole's basketball shoes. If you look at that and we break down what that is more of a cinematic because we had more control over what and how we wanted things to look scene by scene. The lighting, the camera angle, the focal length, we had much more control. It's much more of a cinematic than somebody just recording what happened at Project Puma. Long story short, the cinematographer has way more control and way more responsibilities when it comes to shooting his scenes, his film, versus the videographer. Most of the times the videographer is hired to capture somebody doing something, so he's doing what he's being told to do. So all in all, I pretty much just told y'all what the main difference is. Now, we can dive into a little bit, how do you get your film to look cinematic? Right now, as you can see, I'm just in my room. I got my desk right here. You can see the stuff in the background. It just looks like a regular video. You know, this looks more of like a regular video than anything. But if I wanted to make this look a little more cinematic than what it already does, what I would do is I would just come more close to the camera, and then boom, we now have a blurred out background and I'm more in focus, I'm more up close. You feel more of a cinematic feel than before. To me, cinematic is more of a feeling than something where you can just, oh, that's cinematic and that's not cinematic. In my eyes, it's more of a, that's more cinematic than that because of this, and that. Because like I just showed y'all, if I come more closer, you probably feel like, oh yeah, okay, that's what you're saying. Because in movies, a lot of times when they're having a conversation, they're having conversations up close like this. I hope I don't look too bad right now, bro, because if I do, I'm really gonna hate editing this. Like, yeah, I need to back up. Anyways, you get the idea. In movies, when they talk, a lot of the conversations are closed up, zoomed in, focused on the characters' faces and shoulder up for the most part. For the most part, it depends on the scenes and what's happening. Yeah, so the cinematographer, he's doing everything he's doing when it comes to lighting, when it comes to scenes, when it comes to angles, when it comes to cuts. Everything is important because every little thing tells a story piece by piece by piece and navigates your emotions, your reactions, your thought process to think a certain way. But back to how you can make your scenes, how you can make your videos look more cinematic. We can go from this color grade to this color grade, stuff like that, to make it look more cinematic in your own way for whatever reason that you're trying to narrate and tell and navigate this story. Another thing you could do to help make it look more cinematic, one of the simplest things you can do to make it look more cinematic is just simply add your bars on the top and the bottom. Bar here, bar here. Boom, it just looks more cinematic. It just does. Having that, what is it, 16 by 9? I don't think it is. I forgot. I forgot the ratio, but yeah, I think, is there one more thing? I think I might be forgetting one more thing. Dang, I don't even know. Oh yeah, the last thing, if not the most important, I really can't believe y'all I'm giving y'all all this game in one video. Like, we supposed to be talking about the difference between the two, and here I am explaining how to make it look more cinematic. Anyways, the real big difference in a cinematic versus a regular video is that this video right here is recorded in 60 FPS. If you've ever noticed and paid attention, whenever you go to the movies or whenever you watch anything on Netflix, they're being shot and filmed in 23 frames a second, and that is because the human eye can only see up to 23 frames per second in real time. You watch the video on YouTube in 60 FPS, it looks good, but it does not look like a movie. It does not feel like a movie. It looks like a really clear and smooth video. The only time you're gonna shoot an actual cinematic or a film in 60 FPS or even 120 FPS is when you're trying to get very smooth slow-mo. Because the higher the frames are, when you slow them down, it's all smooth. It's gonna look really smooth versus if you got 23 frames and you slow them down, it's gonna look really choppy. It's gonna look like you filming something from 2002. Like, it's just gonna look ugly, man. I think that's pretty much it. I hope we hit 8 minutes. I just gave y'all 2 videos in one because I just told y'all how to make it a little more cinematic. The basics of how to make it a little more cinematic at least. And then I just told y'all the difference between the two, in my opinion. I know I touched more upon the cinematographer versus the videographer, but the videographer does not have as much responsibilities or work required for him to do rather than show up, film, and just know your camera, know what you're doing, know your lighting, know your audio. You know, once you know all this stuff, the stuff you generally need to know about how to shoot, record. Everything else is pretty much just set up, shoot, you know, follow and walk around and record for the most part as a videographer. And yeah, just having good quality overall. But a cinematographer requires a lot more creativity, a lot more planning, plotting, and executing than a videographer does. That's not me saying that, oh, well, it sounds like anybody can be a videographer. Not exactly the case. It's just that it's much easier to be a videographer because it's less responsibilities and duties and less things to have to worry about and have to control than a cinematographer does. So that's why I touched up more on cinematography than videography because, yeah, I'm not gonna go too much further. There's a lot more I can say to kind of like break down and explain a little bit more. But the deeper I go into it, the more I lose myself. Y'all gonna be like, what is he talking about now? He just said this, now he contradicting himself. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. I'm gonna head out of here. If I look tired, man, it's because I am. I almost fell asleep today twice, just midday while I was doing what I was doing. I'm gonna get up out of here. I'm gonna holler at y'all in the next one. Much love, and y'all be safe out here, man, because it's late. I'm shooting this video and it's super late. So yeah, I'm out.